Assalamualaikum student, welcome to my YouTube channel. Student, today we are going to talk about the structure and function of eyeball. Student, actually what is eyeball? Eyeball is a socket of pair of eyes which are present on the orbit of our face. We will talk about firstly its layers, its walls, then we will talk about its gradient and internal structure. So today is our topic about the anatomy of the eyeball. Okay, these are our eyes. If I put my one eye on this board, so you will see here what is the actually structure of internal structure of eyeball. So you can see here. Okay, our eyes has three main layers. The first layer is the outer protective layer, which we call the outer coat, the sclera. You can see here the outer coat consists of two parts, sclera and cornea. So the outer part, which I mentioned black, this is called the outer coat of the eyeball. It consists of sclera. This is sclera. Okay, this is sclera, and the next is the cornea. So you can see here, this is the cornea. The sclera is the outer protective part, and the cornea is the transparent bulging part, which we can see in our eyes. The white part is called the cornea. This part of outer part is 5/6, and this is 1/5. Okay, this is the little part and is the big part. Okay, this is the outer protective part which contain of sclera and cornea. Next coat of the eyeball is the middle coat, which is the nourishment coat, which is the which is the nutrient provider, which provide the blood supply and also provide nourishment to the internal structure of the eyeball. The next part is the choroid. Okay, this part D is choroid. It consists, the middle coat consists of three parts. From here to here, it is the choroid, and then the choroid extend and make a triangular like structure. So you can see here this triangular like structure from here and also from here. Okay, this was the choroid. This part is called the ciliary bodies. Okay, ciliary. And now from these ciliary bodies there is a diaphragm which extend from the ciliary bodies. This like structure you can see here. This is called the iris. Okay, so the middle coat, the nourishment providing coat, consists of three parts: the choroid, which extends from here to here, and then the triangular structure which extends from the choroid is called the ciliary bodies, and then a thin diaphragm like structure extends from the triangular ciliary bodies next to the center. The light wave part is a diaphragm like structure which we call as a iris, and the pore which remain in between the iris, the diaphragm like structure, we call this pore as this like structure. Okay, it is like this structure, we call it as a pupil. Okay, so the middle coat consists of choroid, ciliary bodies and iris. The next innermost coat of eyeball, which is the actual coat, for which the protection is provided, for which the nourishment, for which the nutrient, for which the blood supply are provided, for which the outer part work. This is the actual part where the actual work of the eye is done. This is the retina. This is the retina, so I mention like this. This part is also consists of two parts. One is the neural retina, you can see here. Second is the pigmented retina. Okay, so the pigmented retina is directly attached with the middle coat, the choroid. So this part is the pigmented coat, okay, because it is pigmented in high amount. And the next part is the neural coat. Okay, this is called the neural coat. I will make a zoom in picture here, down like this. I'll make like a zoom in picture like this. Okay, so this was the outermost part, okay, which we call as a sclera, this part. The next part is the choroid, okay. The next part is the choroid. And now the innermost part is called the retina, which also divide into two parts. The one is the pigmented part, so I'll mention like this. It is highly pigmented. And the next part is the neural part. It is like this structure. So okay, this is the neural part, okay. This is the pigmented part. This is the pigmented part, this is the neural part, and this was the sclera, and this was the choroid, and this was the sclera. Okay, next we will talk about that there are specific cells which are present in the inner retina. These cells, which we call it is rod and cones, okay, rod and cones. So I mentioned before, the pigmented layer extend up to the ciliary bodies and up also to the iris, from here also and from here also. But the neural layer don't extend like the pigmented layer. It remain at its position from here to here, okay, it like this. And the rod and cone also don't extend like the pigmented layer over the ciliary bodies and also the iris. So this was the internal structure of the eyeball. So I will mention again like this structure. This was the cornea, this was the sclera, and this is the nerve fiber goes to the central nervous system. And the next part is the choroid, which extend like this. Okay, and the next is the rectangular like structure, which are present like this, and the next are the iris, and this tube-like structure is called the pupil, and the third one is the pigmented layer of the retina, which is directly attached with the it extends up to the iris like this. But the new layer of the retina don't extend and it remain till from here to here. This internal neural retina contain rod and cones. Okay, now we talk about the layers of the eyeball. Now we're going to talk about its internal gradient. So there is the this is the lens. This is the lens which we call as a, and these are the suspensory ligament. Okay, this is the lens and these are the suspensory ligament. We call it as a convex lens. Okay, convex, not concave, convex lens. Okay, and there are the jelly like fluid which we call as a these a vitreous humor. Vitreous humor, and there is another jelly like fluid which we call as a, it is present between the lens and the cornea. We call it as aqueous humor. So in this part contain rod and cones, so I'll mention like this rod and cones. These are the rod and cones. We are present up to here. When the light ray passes through the transparent surface which we call the cornea, it passes from the aqueous humor and enter through the iris, in which the iris there is a tube-like structure we call it pupil. The contraction and relaxation of the iris to increase the tube called pupil. It is a reflex selection which is controlled by our pons. It is controlled by our pons. It is a reflex reaction. Like if someone like I'm doing like this, so my pupil will directly open and close. It is a reflex reaction. We cannot control our this. So when light ray passes through the aqueous humor, so it passes through the pupil and then it comes to the lens, and then by the convex lens the image is formed, which then goes to the rod and cones through the vitreous humor, and we call this stage is called the optic disc. And then the rod and cones form the image which is upside down. Then the message of this image is carried to the central nervous system, in which the center of this picture is present in our parietal lobe, not occipital lobe. It is goes in occipital lobe. There are the neurons. Okay, there are the neurons which we call, and these neurons which we call optic nerve, called optic nerves. Okay, So this was the structure of the eyeball. We study about the eye wall of the eyeball and internal structure of the eyeball. And now we want to focus our study to the rod and cones. So actually rod and cones are the cell which are present in the neural part of the retina. They are present in the neural part of the retina. So this is the, I will only mention here as these are the rod and cones which are present in this part. So the rod and cones, actually a rod is prepared by vitamin A, and cone is also prepared by vitamin A. So when there is no proper light, like during night time there is no sun, so how we can walk? During this time our rod become active and their store light is secreted, and we use the rod through which we can see something a little. We cannot differentiate between the colors, but we only see that this is a person, this is a wall, this is a rock, and we can see our path, but we cannot differentiate between the colors. It is red, it is blue. If we look to this board during night time, so we cannot differentiate between the colors. Even if we light up this, okay, if we light up, and during the daytime our cones are activated. Cones are actually the colorful cells present in the neural part of the retina. It works during the presence of light. When there is light, so cones are activated. They give us the response of different colors, different texture, that it is like this, it is like this. So when we go from the light, like in daytime, and we go to the dark side, so we cannot see things. Why? That time if we directly goes to our room, so that time we cannot see the correct colors and the correct person, that who is this, who is this. It is due to the activation of our cones. During, if we are outside from our room, so our cones are activated. But if we goes to our room, so our cones need the high capacity, the high amount of light. So that time there is no correct light, there is no normal light for activating of cone and normal function of cone. So directly, and our rods are also not activated, so we cannot see anything that time. And later time, if we sit for a couple of minutes in the room, so then we start looking everything. This is due to the activating of rod. So then the cones are inactivated and the rod started working. Okay, so actually rod are also synthesis from the vitamin A, and cone also synthesis from the vitamin A. And if the vitamin A, if there is a deficiency of vitamin A in our body, so the presence of rod and cone will be low, and the person we call as a night blindness. The person then cannot see things in the night time. It is due to the not presence of vitamin A in our body, and therefore if there is no vitamin A, so there will no presence of rod in our eyes, neural part of retina, so we cannot see things in the dark. So rod actually work during dim light. Okay, you know dim light, the light which are not completely for our activating of cone, and they work in shining light, okay, like the light of sun light. It is due to shining light. So when the light passes through the transparent bulging surface of the cornea, it then passes through the pupil to the lens. By there is lens. So the lens make an image. These are the suspensory ligament. Suspensory ligament. These are attached to the ciliary bodies. So, and then passes through the lens. The lens reflects this light, and then these are the vitreous humor, and then passes this light through the vitreous humor by this, and then reach this light to the to distribute to the rod and cones. And then if the light is dim, so the rod activated during night time. If the light is shining, so our cone are activated, and then rod and cone send the message of this image up to the central nervous system through the optic nerve. We call this optic disc because there is no the presence of rod and cones this person, and only this position are called the pua, because there is the abundance of cones. This direct position to the lens. So actually the cones are directly present in a position wall to the lens. So when light passes through the lens, so directly it fall on the pua where there is abundance of cones. But if there is no, the light is dim, so it distribute like this. And where is the rod? So the rod are activated and the cone became unactivated. So the some image are permit. Okay, so this was the anatomy or the structure and function of eyeball. So student, I hope that you have learned more about my lecture. If you have any doubt, so please mention in the comments, and please subscribe and share my video.